how to become dangerous. I want to say something that most people are too comfortable to admit. The world does not respect softness, not the real world, not the one outside the carefully curated version you see on social media. The world respects people who have mastered themselves, people who can walk into a room and hold their composure when everyone else is losing theirs, people who can absorb pain without being broken by it, people whose yes means yes and whose no means no, regardless of who is applying the pressure. We used to call this being dangerous, not dangerous in the way that means violent or reckless, dangerous in the ancient sense, the sense that means capable, disciplined, forged and free, a person who cannot be easily manipulated, easily distracted, easily broken or easily bought. That kind of person has become extraordinarily rare, and in this video I am going to show you exactly why and exactly how to become one. Because self-mastery is not a personality trait you are born with. It is a set of practices you build deliberately. And it starts today. Why soft men and women are multiplying. The comfort trap. We live in the most comfortable era in all of human history. We have heat in winter and cold in summer. We have food available at any hour delivered to our door. We have entertainment, stimulation and distraction available 24 hours a day through a device that fits in a pocket. Every friction, every inconvenience, every moment of boredom has been systematically engineered out of modern life. And we are weaker for it, not just physically, though that too, but psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. The ancient Stoics understood that comfort, unchecked, produces complacency, and complacency produces people who are easily controlled by whoever controls their comfort. Here is the brutal truth. A person who cannot tolerate discomfort will do almost anything to avoid it. They will stay in the wrong job. They will stay silent when they should speak. They will abandon goals the moment the initial excitement fades and the real work begins. They will follow the path of least resistance every single time, which means they will live a life shaped entirely by external forces rather than internal ones. Self-mastery is the antidote, and the first step toward it is deeply uncomfortable, which is exactly why most people never take it. The degree to which you can tolerate discomfort is the degree to which you can shape your own life. Every act of self-mastery begins with choosing the hard thing when the easy thing is available. What self-mastery actually is, and what it is not. Let us clear up what we mean when we say self-mastery, because the internet has turned it into an aesthetic. Cold plunges and 5 a.m. alarm clocks and stoic quotes over black and white photographs. That is not it. Or rather, that is only the surface of it. True self-mastery is sovereignty over your own inner world. It means your emotions do not make your decisions, you do. It means your impulses do not run your behavior, your values do. It means you can feel fear and act anyway. Feel anger and respond with intention. Feel laziness and move regardless. Self-mastery is not the suppression of emotion. That is repression, and it produces its own destruction. A self-mastered person feels everything, perhaps even more acutely than the average person. But they have developed the internal architecture to process those emotions rather than be hijacked by them. The ancient Greeks called this quality sophrosyne, soundness of mind, self-control, the ability to govern oneself. Every great civilization in human history has recognized it as a foundational virtue. Not because it makes you cold or robotic, but because without it, every other virtue you possess, your courage, your generosity, your intelligence, will be unstable. A person who cannot govern themselves cannot be trusted to govern anything else. Self-mastery is not about feeling less. It is about being larger than what you feel. The emotion moves through you. It does not move you. The 6 pillars of self-mastery. Pillar 1, physical discipline. The body trains the mind. Every tradition of self-mastery in human history begins with the body, not because the body is all that matters, but because the body is where willpower lives. When you train your body to do hard things, to wake up early, to lift heavy, to run when your lungs are burning, to fast when food is available, you are not just building a stronger physique, You are building the neurological pathway of doing hard things. And that pathway does not stay confined to the gym. It shows up in your career, your relationships, and your ability to hold your ground under pressure. Pillar 2, emotional regulation. The pause is the power. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Viktor Frankl called it the last of the human freedoms, the ability to choose your response regardless of the circumstance. Emotional regulation is the practice of expanding that space, not eliminating the emotion but creating enough distance from it to respond with intention rather than reaction. The practice is simple, and most people never do it. Before you respond to anything that provokes you, a message, a confrontation, a failure, pause, breathe, name what you are feeling. Then decide how a person with your values would respond. Do that instead. Pillar 3, delayed gratification, the engine of long-term power. Every goal worth achieving requires trading something available now for something better later. The person who can do this consistently, who can resist the immediate reward for the long-term prize, operates in a completely different dimension from those who cannot. This is not about denying yourself pleasure. It is about becoming the author of your own pleasures rather than the slave of them. Start training this deliberately. Fast 1 meal a week. Finish your work before you reward yourself. Let the text sit for 30 minutes before you reply. These small acts build the muscle that makes you capable of the large acts. Pillar 4, radical honesty, with yourself above all. Self-deception is the gravest enemy of self-mastery. The person who cannot look at themselves with clear, unflinching honesty cannot grow, because growth begins with an accurate picture of where you actually are, not where you wish you were. This means sitting with your failures without excuse, acknowledging your weaknesses without shame but without evasion, asking yourself the questions you most want to avoid. A self-mastered person does not need the world to validate their self-image. Their self-image is built on honest self-knowledge, which is simultaneously more humble and more powerful than anything the world's approval can provide. Pillar 5, purpose clarity, the North Star that orders everything. A person without a clear, compelling purpose is blown by every wind. They chase trends. They adopt other people's definitions of success. They are infinitely susceptible to distraction because nothing they are protecting is important enough to protect. Purpose is what makes the discipline sustainable. It is what makes the hard thing worth doing at 5 a.m. when no one is watching and every comfort in the world is available. Know what you are building. Know what you are willing to sacrifice for. That clarity is not a luxury. It is the architecture on which every other pillar rests. Pillar 6, voluntary hardship, choosing the difficult path on purpose. The most countercultural and transformative practice in the entire self-mastery tradition is this: regularly and deliberately choosing difficulty when ease is available. Take the cold shower, do the harder workout, have the conversation you have been avoiding, carry the heavy thing. Not because comfort is evil, but because voluntary hardship, chosen freely, fundamentally rewires your relationship with difficulty. The person who has chosen hard things voluntarily does not panic when hard things arrive uninvited. They meet difficulty as a familiar opponent rather than an unknown terror. The identity shift from consumer to forged. Here is the shift that separates people who flirt with self-mastery from people who actually achieve it. They stop identifying as someone who is trying to improve and start identifying as someone who has already chosen who they are. It is not, I am trying to be more disciplined. It is, I am a disciplined person, and disciplined people do this. The identity comes first. The behavior follows the identity. Every time you act in alignment with the person you have declared yourself to be, you lay one more brick in the architecture of your character. And character, consistently lived, is what produces the kind of person the world calls dangerous. Not aggressive, not reckless, not loud. Dangerous in the way that a sharpened blade is dangerous, precise, capable, reliable, and not to be trifled with. The kind of person who does not need to announce their strength because it is visible in every room they enter. The kind of person whose calm is not weakness but compressed power. The kind of person who has paid the price of discipline in private so that they can perform with excellence in public. The choice that decides everything. Every day, the modern world will offer you 1,000 ways to stay soft. 1,000 frictions it has smoothed over, 1,000 difficulties it has eliminated, 1,000 shortcuts that trade your long-term power for short-term comfort. And every day, you will have the choice to take them or to refuse them. The men and women throughout history who became genuinely formidable, who built things, led people, endured hardship and emerged from it stronger rather than broken, were not special by birth. They were forged by choice, by the accumulated weight of 10,000 small decisions to do the hard thing when the easy thing was available. You are not behind. You are not too old. You are not too damaged. Self-mastery does not care about your past. It only cares about the next decision. And the next one after that. The art is not lost. It is waiting. It is waiting for someone with enough hunger and enough honesty to pick it back up. If this video ignited something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more content on mastery, discipline, and becoming the kind of person the world cannot easily ignore. Drop in the comments. Which of the 6 pillars are you starting with today? Now go do something hard. I will see you in the next one.